Alright boys, just a quick one today. The other day, we done a video on Zherka not being able to fight. He had a bit of a sparring match with this guy called Izzy Primes, and for the most part, Zherka didn't come across like he knew what he was doing. Now, neither did the other guy, but Zherka does go around chatting the big I am and saying that he knocks out pro MMA fighters. So when you go around making big claims like these, you've got to be able to back it up. And he's saying he'd batter the Tate brothers. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this quick little follow-up video is because there's been a few people in the comments of the last video saying that Zherka was injured. He dislocated his shoulder. And people are saying that's why he was fighting the way he was, which is perfect. I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't know that initially, but now that I do, it still doesn't change a thing. Zherka can't fight. And I'm the perfect person to comment on this because I've dislocated my shoulders, both of them, multiple times. The first time I dislocated my shoulder, I was about 18. It was in kickboxing. We were doing about 10, 12 rounds sparring. I can't remember, but we were deep into the rounds and I threw a hook against my mate and he just covered up and blocked it, and then my shoulder popped out and I was literally standing there like that, with my shoulder hanging out, and my mate was still punching me in the head. I was like, nice one for that. But anyway, it just popped back in and then it continued fighting. Now, the worst thing about shoulder dislocations, and I will give Zherka this, it hurts more when it goes back in than it does popping out. When it pops out, it just feels weird. It's just like your arm's not your own and you can't really use it properly. It's when it goes back in, that's when all the inflammation sets in and it just radiates with pain. It's horrible. Honestly, I've dislocated both shoulders more times than I can count. That's why I prioritized my shoulder training quite a lot, because I wanted stronger shoulders. I do a lot of rotator cuffs. I do a lot of overhead presses with the bar, dumbbells, and I got quite strong on shoulder presses, which directly helped with me shoulder strength and me rotator cuff strength for when I go to kickboxing, because once it's popped out once, it's a lot more likely to pop out again. So you're right, it will have impaired his ability to fight. However, him having a dislocated shoulder doesn't change the fact that he was doing some pretty weird things in the ring, and we're going to go back to the video to actually prove this. Even if Zherka dislocated his shoulder the same day, it still doesn't change the fact that he was all over the place with his movement. He was holding his head down, he was turning his head away when he was throwing punches. He's got zero technique, so all the people defending him are silly. We don't even need to look at the whole fight, but I'll just show you a few clips to prove that Zherka doesn't actually know how to fight, or should I say how to throw a punch. I'm not saying he hasn't had fights, I'm not saying that he hasn't knocked people out in the past. As a bouncer, a doorman, you have many things in your favor for you to win a street fight. So let's look at this first round and I'll show you what I mean. I'm almost going to play this frame by frame because I want to show you something that has got nothing to do with his shoulder injury, but proves that he doesn't know how to actually fight in terms of having good technique, and why an actual trained fighter or someone who just trains in martial arts would most likely beat him. I don't care if he's 6'4". Right, now pay particular attention to his footwork. Watch his feet, okay? Right here, watch his back leg. There, you see that? Can you see what I'm talking about? He's got a bladed stance. He's took his back foot almost over and behind his front foot, so he's lost his balance completely. If I was actually fighting him, sparring him, I'd pick up on the fact that he's crossing his feet over, and that's the perfect opportunity to strike. If there was leg kicks included, oh my word, don't get me started. I'm feeling absolutely orgasmic. You could just take that front foot out so easily. Boom! Low kick, and he'd go flying because there's no foundation, there's no stability in his stance because his back foot is going across behind his front foot. Okay, Shaun, maybe that's just a little one-off. He doesn't do that a lot. Okay, let's keep watching. So there, he's done it one time. Right, okay. Now watch that back foot again. As he puts his weight on his front foot, it goes behind again. Boom. See? What's that there? You've almost got Primes doing the foot stomp, the Kamaru Usman foot stomp there. So Zherka has got no idea about footwork, and of course he doesn't. Like, why should he? He's a doorman who just gets into fights with drunk people. But once again, for someone who's chatting about how they knock out pro MMA fighters and how they would beat the Tate brothers, come on, a little bit of delusion here, right? Right, now watch that footwork. There, again. He's moving that back foot behind. Obviously, that's not as bad, but you can see how he's got a tendency to bring that back foot behind. Zherka, if you're watching this, when we spar in the future, I'll train you on this stuff, okay? But look, right, okay. So he walks across. See, once again, a very bladed, narrow, unstable stance. Needs a new graphics card. But watch his back foot now. I'm not sure, but it looks like he's going to do it again. See? Right there. What's that? He's almost doing the cross steps the football players do as the warm-ups. If Primes knew what he was doing here, this would be a perfect opportunity to actually strike, because Zherka has got no foundation to punch from here. Once again, this has got nothing to do with the shoulder. So all you people in the comments last time who were saying Zherka does know how to fight, he was just injured, it's got nothing to do with it. When I dislocated my shoulder, that doesn't make me do crossover stances. So let's play some more. Crossing over again. Yeah, once again, crossing his feet just then. That back foot's just got a tendency to go behind. Leaning back out the way. Now, this is another thing that a lot of tall fighters do. Because they can get away with just being tall and being long and lengthy, this is kind of what Israel Adesanya does. They can just lean back like this. But you get someone like Sean Strickland, for example, who just walks into range and pushes you up against the cage. You no longer have the ability to lean back out the way because it's slow accumulating pressure. It's not like a blitzing pressure like what Robert Whittaker does. So with tall fighters like this, you have to be really good with your feints. Go to the body, then feint to the body, and then eventually go to the head to offset the fact that they lean away. So every time that you blitz in, if they think that you're going to the head, they're going to lean back, but the body is right there exposed for you. So you almost want to feint to the head and go to the body. Then once they get their attention onto the body, that's when you go back to the head then. Or you just do a Sean Strickland and just apply pressure, pressure, pressure. So there's something else we can just add in the basket that proves Zherka doesn't know what he's doing. But that's just a little mini one. Let's keep going.
Okay, come on, Prime.
Now this is the funny one. He comes in, he throws a little jab. Prime isn't the best as well. He's literally looking at the floor whilst he punches. Right. Right, here's where Zherka throws the lead hook. Nice right hand by Prime there. Now, Prime does good here because he actually steps out to his right. Right, so this right here. There. So Zherka's got no stability, so him just throwing that left hook is whipping his back leg round his back, and he's losing his balance. And you can see here, like, there's probably a good 1.5, maybe even 2 seconds. Brilliant window of opportunity to strike right there and then. Right overhand, left hook. That was a nice right hand. Zherka, he just puts his head down. That's the only way he knows how to defend.
Oh, shit, you almost had him right there.
I've also seen quite a few reputable people talking about how Zherka won this fight. My initial thoughts is that he won the third round, mainly because Prime was gassing, although it doesn't really matter how he won it. The first and second round, I thought, went to Prime. He landed more significant shots, and then the only time that Zherka really got the better of Prime is when he done this. And every time he done this, he pretty much just throw a few punches, maybe 1 out of 5 would kind of half land, and then they just end up in the clinch again. That doesn't mean that you win in the fight. This isn't MMA, and size matters more when grappling is involved than it does when striking is involved. So if this was MMA, positions like these would actually really favour Zherka. Just got that strength advantage. Now, I've also found the moment in the fight where Zherka hurts his shoulder. So as I say, if he already had a pre-existing injury to do with a shoulder dislocation, then it's going to be exacerbated, especially if it's still inflamed and you throw a punch again. I've done a good few of my shoulder dislocations coming off a previous dislocation, and sometimes the most simple of movements can be enough to make it pop out again. So it seems like right here during this first exchange, the Zherka pops his shoulder again. Right, let's watch.
Let's go. Come on.
Okay. So here he's throwing the right. Now watch carefully. He throws this left. Look at his feet. He's completely off balance. Where is his head and his centre of mass? It's over this way. And where's his hips and his legs? His hips are here and his feet are here. He's like this. But if you draw a line from Zherka's head to his hips to his feet, there is no foundation. He's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So being in this out of whack position, he throws a left hook now, and this is exactly where he hurts his shoulder. Watch, frame by frame. See, right there. There was the left hook, and it was just like, obviously it wasn't a great left hook. Watch his body language, and you can see him grab his left arm. Watch, see, left arm. You see? See, he's trying to fix his left arm. There. So it's from here on out, that arm does somewhat become rendered useless. You can still throw it, but it's horrible. If anyone's dislocated the shoulder, comment down below how you've done it, because I feel your pain. I've done it multiple times. I've done it when skating years ago. Insert clip right here. In that clip, I go for the 540. Midway through the spin, my shoulder pops out, and it gets stuck in the air. Oh, it was absolutely horrible. So we're looking at Zherka's left arm from here on out. So you can see the way he's also hunching it like that, because everything tightens up and you just feel like you want to protect it. It just wants to keep it close to you, because anytime you flare it out, that's when the pain happens. Also, trying to sleep after you've dislocated your shoulder is horrible. Nice right hand. Zherka fights with his head down. Obviously, this isn't the best look from Prime either. Let me just close my eyes, swing as hard as I can, whilst looking like the African tribe member with the lip disc. Put that gum shield in, will you? You're going to lose your teeth. So once again, can someone please tell me where the shoulder dislocation comes into play here? It doesn't. Zherka has got no fundamentals, and he's got a dislocated shoulder, so yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This probably wasn't going to be his best outing with an injury like that. he probably can fight a lot better than this. But my point is that he has got no fundamental technique there. And he's about 60 pounds heavier, and the reach advantage, and he's a doorman. So he has multiple advantages in his favour, yet still kind of looked like this, even up until before he actually injured his shoulder right there. See, right there, once again. What's that? Let's zoom in on that. But you get me point with that. I'm not like hating on the guy. I actually like Zherka. I like watching his content. I find him hilarious, and I take him for what he is. An entertainer. I found this other video of him having a little bit of a mess around. Let's see what his wrestling and MMA skills are like.
I've done this in a nice one.
A little kick. Wait, you can't see. You can't see on the stream. Wait. You're missing content, retard.
Okay. Let's have a look at that kick. Okay, we got a nice little bit of hyperextension in the kick. Nice little kick here, a little bit of hyperextension, square hips. Keeping the legs straight on the retraction.
Oh, it's falling. It's gonna fall.
All right, who's gonna get the knockout?
Oh! He got him with the absolutely terrible spinning kick, and the lads went for a takedown as he was spinning and pretty much kneed him in the face. Watch this.
Wow, this is really
Oh, it's
crazy.
falling.
All right, who's gonna get the
He kicks, and the lad goes in for the takedown whilst he's spinning.
knockout?
Now, absolutely awful execution on the spinning kick there by Zherka. See if I can insert a little spinning kick demonstration here for you, show you what it really should look like. Then the lad... Now, the lad goes for the takedown. Now, this is what someone does who doesn't know anything about grappling. They always go for the choke, even if it's not there, just because it's the only submission that the majority of people know.
Look at my takedown defense.
Look at my takedown defense. Proceeds to get taken down.
Look. Watch. Watch me get the choke. Watch me get the choke. I got it.
No, that's not in.
I got it.
Oh, fuck!
I got it.
So when you're in a position like this, what you got to do is you got to fight the hands. The problem with this lad is that if he actually got the takedown on Zherka here, let's say he pulls Zherka's legs in towards him, what that does is creates even more pressure on the neck because you're bringing their body close to you. If you want to latch up this choke, one of the best things you can do when you're attacking is get your legs wrapped around them in, say, full guard. So the best thing this lad should be doing is actually keeping the distance between Zherka's legs and him, fight the hands, get out, and then go for the takedown.
Submit.
Did Zherka just get dropped by Mike? Did Zherka just get dropped by Mike or am
You see that? That's how you fight. He's still strong. For 180, he's still strong. No more drunk fighting, though.
I've done a lot of that in my time. So in my opinion, Zherka knows how to fight when he's fighting people who don't know how to fight. Simply just because he's got the size and the confidence. If you turn him into an average 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" lad, he'd be crap. I just needed to clear that up. A dislocated shoulder doesn't excuse half of the things that Zherka was doing. That proves he doesn't know how to actually fight. He knows how to use his size to bully people and maybe hit people before they can hit him, or just grab a hold of them. But how many times has it been when he's done that as the person being the same size as him? Probably never. Usually people like these, they are bigger, so they only really practice against smaller people. Whereas if you're someone like me, 5'10", not particularly short, not particularly tall, I'm kind of always coming up against taller people. We've got a lot of tall lads in our fighting gym, and it's good because it means the majority of people who I'm training with are bigger than me, so I'm used to these bigger bodies. You never want to be the biggest man in the room, which also kind of reminds me of business. You should never be the richest or most successful person in the room, otherwise you've failed. You always want to be surrounded by people who are doing better than you, so then you can elevate up to their level. There's a little nugget of wisdom for you this Friday, and we just hit 60,000 subscribers. Nice one, I appreciate you all. I worked out to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We need to be doing around 390, 400 subscribers a day, which we've been averaging, to be fair, so we'll see if we can keep that up. The 100,000 by the end of the year would be crazy, because that'll be 1,000 to 100,000 in 12 months. That'd be pretty incredible, and it's all thanks to you guys for liking the videos and sharing them with your friends, so I appreciate yous. We're booking our tickets today for the KSI and Tommy Fury fight. Looking forward to that. So, nice one. See you all tomorrow.